What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a first look at the GPT Builder, which is this neural app released by OpenAI that essentially allows you to create custom ChatGPTs for whatever use case you want. It was released in the OpenAI Dev Day, and it's been doing it's amazing. I'm so excited to show you guys what this thing can do. Essentially, you can now create custom versions of ChatGPT that can combine instructions, extra knowledge, combination of skills. It's pretty amazing. Essentially, it lets you customize ChatGPT for a specific purpose. And you have this meta loop that we're going to go into where you can create and customize whatever you want. And it's just mind blowing. It's super impressive how simple it is to set something up and how good it is. As you guys can see, I already created a bunch of different GPTs for different use cases that I think are interesting, but let's create one from scratch. So I'm going to hit create GPT. So you're going to be faced with this interface, and let's break down this interface. Okay. So on the left, you have the GPT Builder, which is going to be helping you build your custom ChatGPT, right? This is the interface where you build your app, and you build your app by talking to the app, which is just amazing. So let's start with something simple. One of my favorite use cases for this kind of app is for learning type of things, right? You can create these custom learning environments using GPTs, and that is one of the use cases that I'm mostly interested in, mostly because this channel is, essentially about automations and artificial intelligence as it relates to learning in its core. So I'm really fascinated with AI, but I'm also really fascinated with how humans learn and how the cross-space and the intersection between those two things happen. Let's create an app that allows you to learn, let's say, algebra, okay? So so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say you are an algebra teacher, specialist algebra teacher. You are a brilliant algebra teacher, capable, who will teach the user concepts, any mathematical concepts related to algebra. And I'll explain in a second why I'm doing algebra specifically. And you will provide exercises, concise and insightful explanations, and practical examples of algebraic concepts. Okay, let's start with that. So once we hit that, now as you guys can see here, it's going to be updating the GPT. So we're going to be starting to build our app. So it's going to take like a few seconds to update. Once it's updated, we're going to see the updated version of the app here on our right as we build it. So now that behavior was updated, we can start seeing some changes here. So now you have some suggestions for initial questions here on the right. You have a quick description of what the app does. And GPT Builder suggests a title, Algebra-Related. Yeah, sure. Algebra seems like a great title for the app. So I say yes, and now it's going to update the title of the app. So, boom, updated the title of the app, and now it's going to be generating a profile picture. As you guys can see, this is a process where you interactively build whatever app you want to build for whatever use case you want. This is why I think it's so completely and absolutely mind-boggling. And now it's using the DALL-E 3 API to generate a profile picture. So here's the profile picture for Algebra, and there you go. It automatically updated there. Do you like it, or would you like any changes? I would like a different. I want a cooler, black and white, minimalistic profile picture. Yeah, that's what I want. So yeah, now it's generating another profile picture that fits the needs that I just described. And what I would like to do with this example for this app is, while it generates the profile picture, I'm going to update a file, because this is the thing about this type of workflow. It can leverage retrieval Now, retrieval is a model's ability to, access and upload documents and files that are relevant for whatever problem you're trying to solve within the app. So there we go. So now we have this much better profile picture that I definitely like more. This is perfect. And now let's upload a file. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here on my resources, and I'm going to upload one of the reference algebra books that, when I was doing my bachelor's in applied mathematics and my master's in cognitive science with the focusing on AI. This is one of the books that I mostly use for algebra, and it's from Serge Lang. And essentially, we can use it to help the model improve the explanations. And not only that, we can give it a reference source, which then the model will use to model its explanations, its answers. And you're going to see how cool it is in a second. So use this book as your main reference for the answers. Make sure to check it if the user's question is not contained inside the book, then you can answer it to some other way. So I'm requesting a certain behavior that I want the model to take with respect to the book. And now, granted, this is early stage of the stack, so you're not really going to know how much of that PDF specifically the model is going to be using. But in the OpenAI Dev Day, they said that their retrieval capabilities were extremely high. They said something about 98% for RAG, which I didn't really understood that plot very well. But what I assume is that the model is going to be able to use the information contained in the file. The model has a big context length. I mean, GPT-4 Turbo has 128,000 tokens. And what's more interesting is you can, and this is what we're going to test now, you can reference sections of the book, which is great for citations, for sourcing, for validating information, making sure that what you're learning is actually correct. So perfect. So now it's using that book as the primary reference. If it's not contained within the book, it will use other knowledge sources to provide the answers. And now we can try it out. But I want to require more explanations, more behaviors from the model. If a user asks a question about a concept, I want you to be super concise and always finish with a question for the user to allow him, her, to allow for reflection. I mean, I always finish with a question for the user to allow the user to interact with the explanation to deepen his or her understanding. So now we're updating the GPT with that behavior. So essentially I'm saying that I want the answers to be concise because I don't want every time I ask for a concept for the model to just return an entire, 3 pages of an explanation on something. I want it to be gradual and based off feedback that the user gives about the explanation so that it's tailored to provide concise answers, etc. So this is what I asked, and now we can take a look and see what happens. Designed to deepen understanding, go ahead and try it out. So we can say, okay, explain what the rank of a matrix is. So while we get that explanation, I'm going to quickly come here over to the book. I'm going to have the book open here on the left, because what I want to show you guys is some of the cool features of building learning. I guess I'm calling this learning modules or interactive learning environments, because this is, and I'm fascinated with this concept and idea. I think that the future of, education and learning and studying, it's going to be about turning a bunch of technical content into minimal interactive learning environments, like little learning modules with which a person can, interact and engage with, rather than just passively absorb what's inside. So now I ask for an explanation of what the rank of matrix is, and now we're getting, okay, so find the number of linear independent columns, for example, 2 or 4, and then 3. If you can find columns, the explanation seems fine to me. Can you think of a true matrix and determine its rank? As you can see, the model is already implementing what I asked, which is asking a question at the end of each explanation so that the user is engaged on that explanation. What should the matrix and determine its rank? Sure. Not really. So you show me one example. So we're going to ask for an example. And now we're getting, okay, so consider the following. 2x3 matrix. To find the rank, we need to determine the number of linearly independent rows or columns, in case you have to look at the rows. Second row is not multiple, etc., etc. That's great. This explanation seems great, but let's say that you're not comfortable with it, right? Can you provide the source in the third line book for the explanation about rank? So you don't have to say source like that, but there we go. It's at chapter 6, section 9. So let's take a look at the book. Chapter 6. You guys can see here. Let me just make it bigger. Oh, sorry. Let's just improve that. So chapter 6. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see here. Chapter 6, section 9. And as you guys can see here, section 9 is about the rank of a matrix, just as specified. So we can go to, as you guys can see right here, it's chapter 6, section 9 is about the rank of a matrix. So we can go and we can explore. I mean, obviously you can do Control F on the rank, but you get the point, right? The point is that you can just, let's say that I want the specific page. That's a feature that I haven't tested yet. Give me the page in the book that defines rank of a matrix. Just to see how like precise can we be about citing our sources. So now it's searching the knowledge, meaning it's accessing and using the document. And definition discussion. Chapter 6, page 178. So now I think this is correct, but let's try it out. I'm going to come here to page 178. So I'm just going to go to here. And I don't know why this PDF is so, but yeah. So I'm going down. So there we go, page 178. There we go. I think we're getting there. Getting? 184, 182, 179. There we go. 178, defining the rank of a matrix. As you guys can see here, it's at the cusp. It's between page 177 and 178. That's perfect. So as you can see, if you connect it with whatever technical content, like, a book, for example, you have this environment because to explore the rank. For example, what we can do here is we can say, and let's include this in the behavior of the model. We're going to say something like this. if the user asks for a demonstration of a concept, you should provide quick, simple, and intuitive Python prototype, Python executable prototypes for visualizations and to illustrate concepts. So now we're like just highlighting for the behavior of the model that it should be able to write and execute code. So now it's updating the model. While it updates, let's take a look at the configure page. So here is where we have all the metadata about the app. So we have the title of the app, we have the quick description of the app that users will be able to see. We have the custom instructions that we've built as we discussed and talked to the GPT-3 builder. We have these conversation starters, which are phrases to help the model know, what to do in what context. We have the knowledge and the documents that are associated with the app that we uploaded. We have the capabilities of the model, which I'm going to remove DALL-E 3. This way, because sometimes when you ask to visualize something, it can mistake that for using DALL-E 3 to just generate some artistic image. And we don't want that. We just want browsing ability and code interpreter ability. Browsing ability is the ability to access the internet. Code interpreter is the ability to execute code inside the app. You can also come here and add actions using that OpenAI API schema from the function calling that we all know. If you don't know, I'm going to show you an example. You have this, actually, this is not the same. I don't think this is the same. Now I don't remember if this is the same schema for the function calling. I could be saying something wrong. But yeah, you have the schema for how to, no, but it's very similar. This is the schema for how to add functionalities to the app that might not be included within these functionalities that we've mentioned. So you can include whatever functionality you want. And this is where I think it's going to be interesting to see what people come up with to augment the capabilities of these models. And you can set up authentication, you can set up a bunch of things. And now let's take a look. We can go to configure, let's see, actions, and let's just, let's remove this action because we don't want the model to have the ability to check for the weather. We want to go back here. And now that we've added the ability to provide quick demos, I'm going to say, can you show me a simple visualization of a rank of a matrix with Python? And now it's going to access the code interpreter to generate that visualization, right? So to visualize the concept of the rank of a matrix, we can consider a matrix and its corresponding column vectors. And now it's giving me a quick explanation. I mean, this explanation is kind of big. So let's just make sure that your inserts are always as concise or to the point as possible. So we're going to add this capability to the GPT-3 builder, to the GPT builder. And yeah, so now here on my right, we're creating a visualization of the rank of a matrix using the capability that we've just discussed about running the code. And we're going to see what happens once we update the model's capability to create more concise answers, because we don't want to have to be reading through like paragraphs and paragraphs of text. Okay, so the model had some issue doing the demo for the rank for whatever reason, but it's going to try again. And that's kind of cool. And you can even inspect the code that it wrote in the past year, which is amazing. Okay, so since I updated the capabilities, let's do that again. So let's, it's running the code, so let's wait for a second. It's running the code. Let's wait for a second. It's analyzing. Okay, it did generate a visualization, but I don't know why it's not being able to show. That's kind of funny. Okay. No, I'm going to make call button to me. I'm going to confirm it. We're going to talk about this little link here on the right in a second. Okay. So I saved it because now I made it just available to me for now. And right now it's just available to ChatGPT Plus users. But apparently the ability to use these GPTs is going to be made available to people that don't have the Plus account in a few days or maybe a week. So I have this app here now in the regular mode because I clicked save. Let's go back a step. So I was in the editing interface. And now when you come here on the right, you're going to have the save or update feature. So when you confirm, we can come here, we can confirm, and it will update and we can see the app in the, we can see the app in this. This is the main app's interface, which we already know because that's how we use ChatGPT, right? And now we can say, okay, show me a quick visualization of the rank of a matrix. So I'm not even going to say, show me a Python visualization. I'm just going to say, show me a quick visualization of the rank of a matrix. So then the model says, so to visualize the concept, it's important to understand the rank represents. The rank is the dimension of the vector space generated by the columns. Let's consider a simple example and visualize it. We're going to use 2x2 matrix, so it's easy to see if the rows or columns are linearly independent. Beautiful. And now it's running the code to make that visualization. So hopefully I convinced you at this point that this is amazing, right? So we have the ability to create custom GPTs, custom ChatGPTs for whatever use case we want. And I think that for learning, that means that we have the ability, there we go. So this is the visualization of the rank of some matrix. So they plotted some vectors in a 2x2 dimensional space. And then the red thing is the rank of the matrix. We can ask for clarification and we can expand on it. That's really besides the point right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a second example. Let's do a second example. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to come here to my sidebar and I'm going to go to explore. And I'm going to click on, and I'm going to show you guys some other apps that I've built with this that I think are interesting. I think the coolest one that I did was an app called Formalize It. Now, this is an app that I'm going to show you in the editing mode so you guys can check out what I did. So this is a formalizer engine. So essentially it takes any problem and any problem description and outputs a formal representation, a proposal for a formal way to represent that problem with, equations, diagrams, pseudocode, whatever you need. So that means that you can come here and you can say something like, so I have to organize the cables in my desk. Can you help me? I'm just going to say, can you help? And let's see what the app's going to do. Okay, so organizing the cables in your desk can be indeed formulated as a problem that benefits from a structured approach. Let's formalize the task. Identifying the elements, cables, devices, cable lengths, connection ports. Okay, so far so good. Defining the constraints, their length constraints, accessibility. All right, so far so good. And then the goal. The goal is to arrange in such a way that all devices are properly connected, cable lengths are accommodated, and overall setup is neat and functional. And then now it's providing a pseudocode where I'm looping over all the cables I have, identifying endpoints, measuring distance between them. If the cable length is adequate, route the cable. I mean, this is insane, right? This is just, let's do another example. Okay. I need to, let's see. I need to prioritize some, okay. I need to plan my schedule, accounting for motivational levels, um, uh, uh, uncertainty and something else like, I don't know. Let's just say those two things. I need to plan my schedule, right? Task management, whatever. And I want to plan for, how much motivation and energy I'm going to have each day, which can be variable. And how much uncertainty you have related to, let's say that you schedule something like, I need to do this thing on this day, but then the person cancels, right? So you have to, account for those types of things. So this is what I think is cool about this engine, because it creates, it can help you formalize things in a way that, it makes it much better to visualize and help you kind of like see things in your head. And of course, this is one example, right, of one thing that I've built with this GPT Builder, because now it's like defining the variables, list of tasks, motivational levels, time estimates, uncertainty factors, the time availability, task priority, flexibility. And now, okay, so now I created a pseudocode, but I'm not really digging the pseudocode. So let's just, can you do another type? I'm going to ask for another type of formalization, just because I want to explore a different way to do the same thing. And then it's saying, yeah, sure, let's formalize your planning tasks as a different approach, focusing more on mathematical modeling. So now it's doing a mathematical formalization of my problem. Now, when I say mathematical here, I'm using the term kind of loosely, right? It's not like we're going to have, you're always going to have to check. You're always going to have to like make sure that you have critical thinking when you're reading through these things. What I'm showing you here is the possibilities behind something that can do this amount of pre-work for you. I mean, as a personal assistant, this is insane, because now you can have customized personal assistants for all the areas of your life, right? For people building apps for other people, this really, I think the direction that we're going towards is like how we're going to orchestrate all of these agents together, because your ability to customize a specific agent to do one thing for you is just incredible. So yeah, it's creating all of these constraints. As you can see, it's creating this beautiful formalization. So yeah, this engine works really well. And I mean, just as a side note, you can you can create a data analysis bot that, given some data, will create all the visualizations for you. You can create all sorts of things. I just showed you a couple of examples just as simple ideas on things that you can do, but you can take this and do whatever you want. And the ability to share these GPTs is something that's going to be crucial, because now when you build something that's really, really good, you can just really easily share it with other people and they can use it. And that can be just a process that happens, over time. So yeah, pretty excited about this one. This is pretty insane, pretty amazing. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.